I asked all those questions off the top. Are you shaking? How's your heart? Answer those for me. How are you doing right now?
I got 2 words for you, Sam. Believe that. I was up in a defensive stance. I was yelling at the TV. I was clapping with every single possession. I was screaming. I was slapping the couch after stops at timeouts. I came downstairs. I probably went through 3 bottles of water in that fourth quarter, trying to get my voice right to come on here and love up everybody on the Minnesota Timberwolves for a 30-point turnaround on the road in Denver against the defending champs to win not 1, not 2, but 3 road games against the defending champs in Denver after they lost 1 time all season or all playoffs last year in Denver. My hands, I don't know. What do we see? Can you see my hands? Are they're still shaking a little bit?
They're tingling. They're tingling.
My heart's great. My heart's great. I can't feel my hands. It was just like Game 6 at Target Center, man. I still have a headache from being there that night, 4 days later, 3 days later, whatever it is. And now, man, my hands will just be shaking until we get this thing rolling at Target Center on Wednesday. So I can't wait. But oh my goodness, what a fourth quarter for really the whole second half from the Timberwolves to snatch this thing away.
Yeah, as Jeff points out, they beat Scott Foster as well, but that might be the good luck charm. I think their record's actually really good with Scott Foster now for some reason. We'll get into that. Yeah, it's actually above average. The Minnesota Timberwolves were dead. I declared them dead. I was one of many. I said it's over. They end the first half with a clunky 90 seconds. They had the ball down 10, chance to cut it to single digits. You'd be feeling okay. Instead, they bungle a couple possessions. They have a botched fast break. Nuggets go up 15 at the break. First 90 seconds out of halftime, the Nuggets have a quick 5-0 run. It's a 20-point game. So it's 58-38, Jack. And I thought to myself in my mind, okay, I mean, if the Timberwolves, are going to win this thing, they got to get to 100, I think. The Nuggets would then have to score 42 or less, or less than 42 to not get 100 in basically 2 full quarters of basketball. That's not possible. I declared their time of death, like 10 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. From that point on that I buried this team, they go on a 60-32 run. That is absurd against Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and I don't know how it happened. What's your best interpretation as to how they flipped the switch so out of nowhere to do what they just did?
It takes guys with a ton of dog and a ton of heart in them. And it's what we saw from the Minnesota Timberwolves all season. I would like to issue a formal apology for all of our everydayers here that have had to deal with our horrific medical examining performance from Sam and I over the last 10 days or so with falsely declaring people dead. But my goodness, I mean, it just felt like, I talked to Rudy Gobert in the locker room after Game 6, and Rudy told me, he said, I feel like that team does not have the capacity to play as hard as they can for as long as we can. So if we play as hard as we can last longer than they can. And that is exactly what happened in this game. The Timberwolves, were really stuck in the mud offensively, but their defense kept them in it. And we'd see games last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where that's a 35 point hole at halftime. But instead it's 15. They band together. You get Anthony Edwards on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray for the Nuggets, I want to say he was sitting on 24 points at halftime. Yes. And he had 35 so he had 11 points the rest of the second half. Anthony Edwards totally got in Jamal Murray and forced him to go east to west instead of north south and all their 2-man game stuff. And you could just tell that Murray and Jokic had zero confidence in the guys around him. I mean, you look at after the third quarter, no one else on the Nuggets had more than 5 points.
No.
And the Wolves did a great job of pressuring those two guys and forcing everyone else to beat them. And no one else was able to beat them.
Stay up to date on the Timberwolves all year by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Wolves on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube.